My creative muse would have to be Oprah. And it sounds very generic and very typical, but it really is, because as a little girl, I've always admired just her poise and how she can navigate through multiple avenues for her career. And that is why I would say Oprah.
20 G's for the backpack. Hopping out of Bentayga, 40 on me compact. You niggas see the sauce, you niggas riding that. Jump roping by the ocean, I took the Maybach.
What is the Millennial Mommies Club and why did you start it?
The Millennial Mommies Club is an organization for moms to come together and build community, have a bond, have a safe space. And I started it through my postpartum depression. After having my first daughter, Jelani, it was a downhill from there. And I never really recovered from it before 6 months later, find out I'm pregnant again with my second. And that just postpartum just took a deep toll on my life. And I was in a state where I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know my potential anymore. And I needed an outlet. And through that journey, I realized there's other women that are also experiencing that. So I started to talk through a microphone and release all of my pain, all of my struggles, all of my difficulties that I was facing, and realize, you know what, there's other women who are in that same situation. So I'm going to share this with them. And now I'm going to create this space because I didn't see it already out there. I didn't see a place for colored women where we can talk about it and not feel judged and not feel looked at differently in any kind of way. So what we do for the moms, we try to give 2 events a month, one specifically for the moms where you come out, leave your children alone, and you enjoy yourself. And then one where you actually bring your kids so that they can experience a bond with other kids as well as with you.
So, and I don't want to take the interview too dark, like starting out, but, you know, just listening to your answer, from a male perspective or from a father perspective, from a partner in a relationship perspective, what can men do to help women through postpartum?
Honestly, there's no answer, because what I tell you I may want today is going to be different in 30 minutes from the time I tell you. So all you have to do, in my opinion, is roll with it. If I say today the sky is blue, maybe it's blue today, because I don't know where I'm going. I don't know who I am sometimes. And all I need you to do is be supportive. I need you to support my decisions, support my thoughts, support how I'm feeling in every aspect, because you have to understand what just happened to me and my body and my hormones and everything. You're just kind of watching from the outside looking in. So all I need a man to do is just be supportive and try not to complain. It's tough. I know it's tough for you just as much as it is for me, but try not to complain. Try not to look at me differently, because I am not the same person that I was before we had this baby. So I just need you to be supportive and willing to roll with it until I get back on my feet.
What's the difference between that and dating a woman and the other time?
There isn't a difference. I mean, the only thing is, you know, when she hasn't had a kid, she is still... that's just naturally who she is.
She still wants the sky to be blue today. And
she does.
purple
But
tomorrow.
at the end of the day, she still understands and she can still leave, right? She can still get up and go, or you can still get up and go. There's no attachment. Now that we've had this baby, we have to fight a little bit harder now. So that's the difference from a woman who's naturally just in this, doesn't know what she wants, than a woman that's actually had a baby. It's completely different.
I have a theory about postpartum, but I'm going to save it for off camera.
Okay.
Another thing you said was about how you start talking through a microphone. How long has a microphone been your safe space?
Microphone being my safe space, I will honestly say when I went through my postpartum journey. A microphone for me has been my happy place, right? It's been the joy. It's been who I am. It's really developed me as a person being behind this mic. And after having my baby, when I didn't know who I was, that was the only thing I could like clutch back onto and say, go back to where you were happy, go back to where you connected. And that's where the mic was for me. So when I decided to tell my story and talk about it and go through these episodes, I felt that peace back. I felt that joy. I felt Brianna again. But because before that, I didn't know who she was.
But doesn't that mean a microphone was your safe space even before that? I mean, you're a broadcast journalism major. And I think stars are born. I don't think they're made.
Yeah.
And I think part of being a star is naturally turning on when everybody turns to look or listen to you. So I think somewhere in your childhood or, in high school or even in college, you just found it. It had to be a safe space before that.
Well, growing up, everybody always said, you're going to be in front of a TV one day. You're going to be in front of a camera because that's your personality. I was always in a club. I was always on something hosting or being the president of something. I was my miss of my school when I was in high school. When I went to college, I went for business management. I thought I was going to I had a star athlete. That was my boyfriend coming in. So I'm like, I'm going to be your sports agent. We're going to do this. And that's our goals. And then my first semester as an SBI student in business, I was like, ooh, no. And there was a journalism advisor. She said, that's not where you're supposed to be. Come to J School, which is our journalism school in FAMU. They were like, come to J School and try this for a day. And I promise you're going to love it. They gave me this tour. They said, here's the radio station. Here's the magazine that we do. Here's the news outlet that we write for. And here's the TV station that you'll be on. And I walked through that whole building and I changed my major that afternoon because it was like, ooh, this is where I should have been from the beginning. And this is what everyone has told me growing up I should be doing. Let me try it. Because what I think I want to do may not be my calling. So I guess in that moment, that's when I fell in love with the microphone.
And this is freshman year?
Freshman year of college.
What happened to the boyfriend?
So the boyfriend and I, we went through college together, but being a star athlete, being very transparent, ladies, let's be honest here, you're going to get cheated on. I'm sorry. It's just the reality. So me and him decided, hey, I still love you. You still love me. We still going to rock this thing out. But do you right now because I know you're going to do it anyway. So we still stayed together. Like, we were still good friends. We were still together throughout college, but we did have our separate lives that we were indulged into. And we we still friends to this day.
I have, I think it's real interesting to see how your life changes versus what you thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And it's also real interesting to see people who start something their freshman year in college and stay at it. Mm-hmm. Most people change their major 3-4 times. Mm-hmm. And you stay with it.
Because it was falling in my lap. Like, from the moment I changed my major, I was Miss Freshman. So now I'm hosting everything as the freshman attendant on the Royal Court, waving in front of thousands of fans for FAMU. Then from there, it was like, oh, now I'm on the Beta Nu Alpha Court and I'm Miss Gold. So now I'm waving in front of all these people. And now I'm on the radio station and every celebrity that comes to town, I'm getting phone calls like, hey, Bree, get this interview. Hey, so-and-so's coming, get this interview. So now I'm getting calls from the university, from the local stations, from everyone that's like, these celebrities are coming in, do their interviews. And it just kept coming and kept coming. So I knew this is where I need to stay with. There was no need to change. I had created such a name for myself in college. And then I was interning at BET. I was interning at Epic Records. I was with Rock Nation. I was with all these places to where it was, why would I leave it?
Why does FAMU, which is in Tallahassee, which is super small, I'm from Albany, so Tallahassee is about an hour and a half away. Mm-hmm. Why does FAMU produce so much talent? Not saying other schools don't, but it's 1 billion schools in the country.
Yeah.
What's so special about FAMU?
FAMU is going to get you ready for life more than in my opinion, more than any other school will. Once you step on the hill and you want to get into any type of limelight, you want to be seen, there's like a mini haze that you go through. That haze is not a haze of physical abuse or anything like that, but it's mentally challenging because you're dealing with so many different people. And it's like, they got these little underground, little politic groups where it's like you have,
cliques.
you know, these little cliques and everything. And people are going to talk about you. How are you going to get through the adversity of that? People are going to judge you. How are you going to get to the adversity of that? People are going to have pre-notions of who you are when you step on that hill based off the way, based off where you're coming from. So how do you combat those challenges? And then you got to think about it. It's 102 degrees and you're walking on a hill to go to financial aid that you're waiting in line for 3 hours. Where's your patience? Now you got to learn patience. Then you're dealing with professors who may be throwing you with all this work, but you still want to go party and have fun. So now you're dealing with, how do I juggle my time management? Then if you want to get into any social organizations, you're dealing with now adding that to your schedule. So FAMU just produces a person who knows how to navigate any situation. We know how to get through all adversities because we've been it's been thrown at us for 4 years. And if you do make it through that, I personally believe you're going to succeed at life.
That's why I like being unofficial FAMU. Because like I get to, you know.
Hear our stories.
That, but, you know, from like probably 05 until maybe 2013, spent a lot of time at FAMU. And I didn't have to go to class. I didn't have to deal with what the students deal with.
Yeah.
You just get to have fun.
But I'm sure you heard about it, or I'm sure people talked about it, or you've seen it. If you ever went to FAMU during a campaign season, if you ever went during probate season, if you ever went during any of those, even college tours, when students are coming, high school students are coming for a college tour, just the atmosphere, you're going to feel all of it. So you get a taste of it.
Do you want your daughters to go to FAMU?
I do. And I want them to go not just because I'm a rattler.
I was about to say,
no.
It's biased.
No, really, again, because I know they're going to be challenged. I know they're going to be challenged, not just with their education, but challenged with their social life. It's going to challenge them. So I know that's going to build them up to be a strong woman. And it's just what it did for me. It changed my life. So I would love for them to experience that. They may be able to experience it at another HBCU, but I can't speak for it because I didn't go there. But I know for FAMU specifically, you're going to get every aspect of that, from your social to your education to just who you are as a woman.
Is HBCU traditional in your family? Like, is that a route everybody takes, or were you like the trendsetter?
No, I'm not the trendsetter. My dad went to Bethune. So my dad did go to Bethune-Cookman. My mom had me at 17. So she did not go to college. My dad's sister did go to FAMU. So she was the one who actually took me to the Hill. I had a full ride, honestly, to go to Spelman. So I was going to go to Spelman. I thought, okay, all girls, Atlanta, like this about to be fun, everything. But my aunt said, no, let me show you FAMU real quick. If you're going to choose Spelman as your HBCU, let me show you FAM before you sign and go to them. And I went to FAMU on a set Friday during homecoming week, and it was over.
Yeah, if you go to FAMU homecoming, you'll be sold. I don't care.
Over.
Now, don't take this the wrong way. I do think, because I'm from Georgia, I do think you definitely would have fit at Spelman too.
I believe I would have. But I will never change the decision I made to go to FAM.
All right. Let's switch back to Bree, the mom, career woman. What's the biggest misconception about working moms? Better or for better or for worse?
The biggest misconception about a working mom is we neglect our kids for work. And it's like, I'm not neglecting my kids for work. How else are they going to eat? You know, I have to feed them. And the lifestyle that I chose of being a mom who works on contract based or who gets their own stuff, I eat what I kill. So if I don't go do it, how are my babies going to survive? And that's why my village is so important, because when I have to go out of town for 2 days to go host, or when I do have to get a booking that maybe every weekend I may have a booking, my family and my support, that's where I lean on them the most, because how they understand. That's all I got to get. But when you get the reward of, I may get a gig one time that may be somebody's salary. You know what I mean? And now I don't have to work for a month or two. So I can spend the time with my kids. So it makes up for, in my opinion, it makes up for the work that I have to do.
And then you get stuff like your Lego campaign where your girls get to be a part of it.
Exactly. And so many more. You're getting brand packages that are coming to the house that are not just for you, but they're for your kids. Or you're also putting your kids in the space. For me personally, coming to do shoots like this, my kids get to come with me. My kids have been at One Music Fest. My kids have been to BET Awards, Sheen magazines. They've been backstage to all these different things, to where my daughter picks up a camera sometimes and wants to see how it works and wants to get behind it. My other daughter, she'll grab the mic and she'll try to talk into it and say, I'm mommy today. So not only am I working, but I'm also expanding my kids and giving them different opportunities to see. So if they don't want to go the traditional route of being a doctor, a nurse, or something like that, they have options to choose from. They can see what the life of a photographer is, or a videographer, or a camera operator, or a producer. Those are all careers too. So I think I'm just expanding their horizon to multiple job opportunities when I bring them to work with me. And it's not just your typical mom job, right? My daughter took my book to her school and she said, this is my mommy's book. My mom wrote this. Like, my mom is an author. So now her school is asking me to give them copies and they're reading it to the class. So my daughter can like boast about it, you know, and be proud what her mom does. So I don't, being a working mom, taking the time and traveling a lot, I don't care what people say when they say you're choosing work over your kids, because I don't believe I am.
Would you want them to take a more traditional route, or do you think the entrepreneurial or even just entertainment route is something you would want them to gravitate to?
I don't have a want for them. I want them, like a true want, to say I want them to be a doctor, nurse, and entertainment, whatever. I want them to do whatever they want. Like, I want them to explore all options. If my daughter tells me at 18, I don't want to go to college, instead I want to do this, I want to see the plan, but I'll support you. You know what I mean? I'm not going to push them in any direction. Just as well as I said with school, I would love for them to go to FAM, but I'm not going to push them there. I want them to be who they are and what they want.
What's the biggest, first and foremost, before I get to that question, how do you define your role in the culture and in the industry? Because you host, you're a correspondent, you're a broadcaster, you do podcasts, you model, you do everything. How do you, when you introduce yourself, I'm Bri Harmon, I am what is it?
I'm an on-air TV personality, also content creator, and all well-rounded, like multifaceted. I can't even explain it, honestly. As I'm trying to think of the term to put it in one, I can't.
Isn't it all broadcasting?
It is all broadcasting, because as an author, my words are still being told, but in a book, right? As a content creator, my words or my opinions or the way I see things is still being told, because I have to produce it, you know? So for me, it all falls under the umbrella of I don't want to use the word journalist, because it's not a journalist, but it all falls under that bracket, right? Like I said, when I go back to FAMU, they had news, they had print, they had graphic design, they had all these elements that are under the umbrella of a journalism degree. So yes, it will all be under the umbrella of journalism, but there's different lanes to it, if that answers it.
So let's use the term broadcaster just for purpose of the next question. Outside of the logistical stuff you have to work around, what's the difference between Bri Harmon, the broadcaster now, versus Bri Harmon, the broadcaster before she had kids?
Bri Harmon, before she had kids, was untouchable. You know, it was get up and go, grind. When I first got to LA for my internship, I stayed on my friend's couch for a little bit before I ended up getting my place. Even when I moved to LA graduating, I graduated May 4th and I had to move to LA May 8th. So that whole weekend that we're supposed to be partying outside, I was doing that, but my family and my friends were also helping me pack up my apartment because I had to be to LA by that Monday. So when I got there, I'm staying on her couch because the grind is there. The hunger is there. So that's Bri before she had kids. Now Bri having kids, think of that times 10, because now, again, I only eat what I kill. And I know they have to eat. It's not just Bree no more. So Bree could just eat ramen noodles for a week and be like, it's cool. That's okay. Bree can't feed them ramen noodles for a week. So it's enhanced 10 times more.
How does that change you on camera? Like, does that change the jobs you'll take? Does that change the opinions you'll give? Does that change the risk you'll take with your opinions and with your aesthetics? All of these things. Does that change on camera now that you're a mom?
To some degree, yes. Because there's certain things I'm not, just no offense to anybody, but I'm not gonna be in a shoot that has me nude, right? That's just my preference. So I'm not gonna take something that's gonna have me exploit myself in a way that I don't want my kids to do it one day. You know, I want to be able to have some type of limitation for myself that I am a mom now. When I take jobs or gigs or anything, I do have to make sure, is the money worth it? That's different now, because back when I was in school or back when I was coming out, you know, anything felt like something. Now I'm not going to leave my kids for a whole weekend to make $500. It's not happening. So the money has to be right now. It has to make sense for my brand. It has to make sense because I want people to also continue to see me as the mom and the broadcaster, right? So I need to make sure it aligns. So it does change for sure.
What's the difference between passion and purpose?
Purpose is why you do it, to me. Purpose is the reason, right? What is the reason behind it? What are you gaining? Why are you doing it? Passion is the love that makes you go do it. It is what keeps you going to get it done, in my opinion. Because when you have a passion for something, it could be rain, snow, sleet, hail. You're going to get it done. You have a passion for it. You love that. You wake up every morning wanting to get it done. But purpose is, it ain't nothing that's going to stop you to get it. Like, I have to. I want to. And there's a goal behind it.
I think, and I go back and forth, and how I'm all analytical and everything. I think passion is what God wants you to do for you. And I think purpose is what God wants you to do for others. So in that regard, I think you find passion.
For sure.
You trial and error and you find your passion. I feel like your purpose find you. Do you think you have found, or your purpose has found you?
That's deep. I don't think so yet. Because there's still so much more. There's still so much more that I have to do. I don't even want to say want to, that I have to do. I have 2 little girls, so that watch me every day. So there's so much more that they need to see that I don't think it's been truly found yet.
Which one do you think pulls you the most? Passion or purpose? Ideally.
Go back to your definition of the 2. I liked yours.
Passion is what God wants you to do for you. Purpose is what God wants you to do for others.
I would say what pulls me more is purpose. Purpose is what's taken me everywhere that I've gone so far. Because it's thought through, right? It's a process that has to be taken. So for me, purpose is what's pulling me, because I know it's there. Like, I know it's coming. I know, like, I may not see it now, but I know there's a light down there. And once I get to that light, in a crazy way, you walk past that one and you see another one that's shining even brighter down at the end. So for me, I would say purpose is pulling me way more.
Love or success?
Oh, love. I'm a lover.
So what do you say to the people that say you can't find both at the same time?
I don't think that's true.
Not that you can't have both eventually, that you can't find both at the same time.
Okay. I don't want to say it's not 100% true. because that's what's been my struggle, right? I'm a single mom, right? So I'm openly dating, and I'll find a gentleman, a man who says they have time, right? And say I know you busy. I know you working. I'm gonna be here, right? But what happens is I'm gone this weekend. I don't have a sitter this week. I don't have this. And you're gone now, or you're texting me 1,000 times. What's going on? I haven't seen you. I haven't talked to you. Where you been at? So for me, it doesn't work. I'm chasing a dream right now. Like I got a goal to get. I got things I need to do. So either you're going to get in the car and we're going to ride together through the bumps, or you're going to just get dropped off and I'm going to keep going. So there is a tug there between my success and my happiness in a relationship. But I believe when that person comes, he'll be able to balance both of them.
Do you have a harder time finding time, or have a harder time for someone finding time for you?
I have a hard time. I have a hard time finding time because, again, I work all day, I mommy all night, I sleep. That's literally the day. Take them to school in the morning, go work out for a little bit, work, pick them up from school, cook them dinner, give them a bath. By 8:30, they're in bed. I am exhausted. So now when I do lay down at 8:30, friends would be like, hey, we going out, let's go. I try, but I'm tired. Or a man, hey, you want to go on a date tonight? I'll try, but I'm tired. So it's hard. I think it's a little bit of me. I will say it's me because I try to find that time in that day, but it's hard to find it.
So what do you say to the people that say how do you feel about the phrase people make time for what they want to make time for?
I think that's a very funny phrase because you are right about that. But you got to meet me at my time then. How about that? If my time is, hey, I know you wanted to go out tonight, but let's just stay in and watch a movie, or let's cook dinner and eat that, and that's our time together. I can do that. If I give you an option that may not be what you want and you take this one, I could work around that. But when you start to say, I'm tired of being in the house. Can we go somewhere? Can we do something? You got to meet me in the middle somewhere.
So, one of the things I really admire about you is you're so, and these are like, I hate buzzwords, right? Mm-hmm. But you're so unapologetic about what you want. Mm-hmm. Like, I ain't gonna say never, but it's very rare, especially from a woman, to see somebody so driven aggressively to get the things they want. Mm-hmm. Where does that come from?
Childhood. I've always been the person who you can't tell me no. Like, you just can't. And if you tell me no, let me show you real quick how I'm going to do it without you. That's just been me. I've always been that way as a little kid. My dad will tell you himself, he always butt heads with me. I was always into something because if he said no, if my mom said no, I'm going to ask my auntie. I'm going to ask my cousin. I'm going to ask my uncle. If my teacher said no, I'm going to ask the art teacher. I'm going to ask the Spanish teacher, because you can't tell me I can't do something. You can't tell me Bree can't do it. You're crazy. I can do it. Watch this. And if you're not going to help me, somebody else will, or I'm going to knock all y'all out the way and I'm going to just do it myself.
So how does that translate to constructive criticism?
I think it takes a big toll on it for real, because I need to know when it's wrong. Because I have that mindset of I'm going to do it whether you say yes or no. I bump my head a lot. I fall down a lot because you're not going to tell me no. Even when you may really have to tell me no, I'm going to say no. You can't do that. But when I fall and bump my head, I take the criticism, the constructive criticism, to be able to be told, I told you so, and won't get upset about it. Because Okay, you're right. The movie Friday, he was like, I'll be talking again. When Craig came, he was like, all right, I'll be quiet, but I'll be talking again. That's me. Like, all right, you was right. I don't have a problem with telling somebody you're right. I don't have a problem with that. I may joke around and be like, shh, you're right. Like whisper it.
I give you that.
But I'll take it because I know some things that I may want to do or some things that I may get into may not have been the best decision for me at that time or in general. So I take constructive criticism very well. I want to know when I get done doing something, I want to know your feedback. Even before something goes out, I ask people, I'll send it to 1,000 people and be like, what you think? What you think? Before I put something out there because I want to know how it looks or if it was right.
Who's your harshest critic?
Me.
Outside of you.
Oh, outside of me?
And when I say harshest critic, I mean with positive intentions. I don't know if that's your dad or if that's your mentor or who gives you the right tough criticisms that have kind of got you through some of these phases?
My dad, most definitely. Because my dad, I can bring him any idea. I can bring him any problem. I can bring my dad just about anything. That is my best friend. And he is going to always give me the good, the bad, and the ugly. So you're going to know what the outcome could be in all three of those cases. Which one are you going to listen to? Or which one do you want to experience? Because like I said, I bumped my head a lot growing up. So my dad would always be there when I bumped my head. But as I've gotten older, he's now stepped back and said, listen, I'm going to just give you what it is and you going to walk through it. And when you walk through it, you could call me and tell me you bumped your head because you chose the wrong decision. But he's going to be the one that's going to lay it all out for me. Even when he doesn't know. Even if he doesn't know, he will still say, I may not know because I'm not in your field, but here's what I think could happen. And that at least allows me to know, should I go to somebody who is my field, like a mentor, like a friend that can give me better advice from experience, or just take what his thought may be and run with that.
I love that because of what your brand is, it's the Millennial Mommy's brand, right? And I know a lot about it, but I also know sometimes that comes off, whether that's to other moms or that comes off to men who are fathers and who are active fathers or whatever. It feels like only moms get a certain amount of praise or a certain amount of appreciation. So you saying that and me, throughout this interview, just so now you've mentioned your dad so many times. How important are dads?
Very important, especially for young girls. I mean, men, yes, they're really, really important for young boys. But for young girls, that's your first love. That's the person. For young girls, a father is the person who you may get your first real whooping from. So now you've experienced that tough love. That's the first person that you, most of the time, say their name first. Most kids are going to say dad first before mama. It's just natural. Moms, we cry about that. We get mad about that because we want ours to be first, but sometimes it's the dad. But dads for young girls really are that example of a husband, I think Beyonce said it best when she said, I want my husband to be like my daddy. Like I want, we look for that, right? So for moms, even when you're picking your child's father, in those scenarios, you want that man to be able to be that knight in shining armor for their daughter. You want that example. So for me, my dad was that. I grew up my dad and I had a better relationship than me and my mom just because he was more understanding, in my opinion. He was more, he could give me that good, bad, and ugly, and I wouldn't feel like my mom was, girl, you just talking. You know what I mean? It was more so like, nah, if daddy say it, go. So I believe dads are very, very important. That's why when we have the Millennial Mommies Club, the Millennial Mommies Club is not a dad bashing spot. The Millennial Mommies Club is not where we The Millennial Mommies Club is not a space where we're just going to talk about all the ugliness and baby daddy drama and bashing all the fathers. It's a space where we can come up with solutions to how we can better help our men, right? How we can better challenge ourselves to do better in our relationships so that we're not always headbutting with them. It's a space for us to be able to curse, yell, get it all out so that when we do go home, we're a totally different person because we got to talk to somebody that understands. Because as a father, you'll never understand. You will try, but you will never understand what we go through because it's mom first, right? Then it's taking care of our husbands. Then it's taking care of our kids. Then it's taking care of our grandparents or whatever. And guess who comes last? The moms. We're always last. So because you will never understand it, that safe space to come and talk about it, yell, scream, F this, F that. That's what we need to come home and then be a little bit better.
I had another question.
Go ahead.
But because you cried on that question, I didn't think that was the one that was going to get the waterworks. That was like the jab.
There's plenty of them that I'll probably...
Set up, right? Because you mentioned being a single mom. And I'm not going to go too deep into it, of course. But you having that relationship with your dad and you being a single mom and the girls have a relationship with their dad.
Yeah.
But how does it affect your decisions now that you're not with their dad? How does that translate into being a millennial mom? How does that translate into what you want to show other women that's in your network?
Yeah, it truly is. You know what it shows? To be honest, it shows women that when you're unhappy or when you come to a place where you've tried everything, it's okay to leave. A lot of women in their situation for their kids. They're staying in their situation because that's their support. That is the head of the household, right? That's the money. That's whatever you want to call it. So we stay. But I try to stand up for women to be able to say, when you're unhappy or when something isn't being done, leave. And it's okay to leave and still be successful because that's our biggest fear when we're thinking about leaving. I've talked to several women. I had a woman literally DM me and said, I wasn't proud, like 100% proud, but she said, one of your episodes helped me get through my divorce and actually divorce my husband. Because I was unhappy and because I was trying to stay for the kids. But because I saw you and you told your story about how you left, I left my daughters in Detroit, Michigan for about 2 weeks and got to Atlanta, found a place, got a job, set it up, did all that, went back and got my girls and brought them back. The scariest thing I could have ever done in life. But if I would not have done that, I wouldn't be sitting here right now because I wouldn't have known my potential. And when I got to Atlanta, I was in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was really small. I remember when I moved in, I cried because I was like, Dad, this is so ugly. I'm coming from this big old house with my partner where I was living good. But guess what? You may be living good, but you're feeling terrible. Mm-hmm. So for me, I love to show that as choose you. I think we grew up in this millennial age now where choosing you is okay. And it's sad, to be honest, because you have so many relationships that are broken. You have so many babies that are being born and give it a month or 2 or 6 months or a year later, and now they're single moms and they're separated. And it sucks. But we've built this courage to not take no BS. Back in the days, you had women that they knew their husband had 3, 4 other girlfriends, but guess what? He came home every day and he gave you that money and your bills were taken care of. So you was good and you was quiet. Now, the millennial age and up, I ain't taking that. You can't do that to me. I'm a boss up. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be okay. And somebody else gonna take me and my kids. And that's another big thing. Women always are like, who gonna take me and my kids? Who gonna take me in my stretch marks? Who gonna take me in this? To be honest, they take you a little bit more after you had a babies than when you come in without the kids. So that's where I come in.
So you mentioned, that's a good segue into the Millennial Mommies Club podcast.
Yes.
Talk about that. How did that start? And what's your favorite moment so far in that podcast?
Yeah. So the podcast started, again, a lot of people don't know, but when I left LA, before I went to Atlanta, I lived in Detroit. So I lived in Detroit for about 2 years, and that is where my youngest was born. So I have one baby that was born in Los Angeles and one that was born in Detroit. While I was in Detroit, y'all got to think, no bashing my Detroit people. I love 313. I rock with y'all, but it's too depressing for me. It's snowy.
It's a big culture shock.
Yeah, coming from Florida to LA to Detroit.
Yeah.
Sun, dark, cold, snow, overcast all day. It was not me.
Pistons.
Right. So think about how the change went down here. Remember I told you I'm coming from postpartum. So now I go to another dark place and I'm staying in this place. Now I'm pregnant. Then COVID happened. So all this is happening and I'm just stuck in this house confined with 2 babies, under 2. 2 under 2. And I needed somewhere to go. So I would literally go in the closet and I close the door. The girls would be sleeping. I would be in there and I'll be writing out my episodes. I would be writing out what I'm going to talk about or what I'm feeling in this moment. And I would just press record. I went on Amazon, ordered a little mic and I would press record and I would just be talking to myself. I would just be saying like, man, today was hell. Or today I felt like this. Or there was a point in time where I was trying to commit suicide. Like I literally was about to kill myself and kill Jelani. Like I say that in the episode. And when I started talking, it was like, whoa, I started to feel better. And I could get up, close the book, close the laptop and go lay down in the bed peacefully. But because before my thoughts would be all throughout my mind.
Had to get it out.
You know? So that's where the podcast came. And I let one of my friends hear an episode and she was like, what's next? Like, what's the next episode? Because I don't even have kids, but I need to send that to one of my friends that do have kids. And the first episode was postpartum depression. So I needed to get that part out to heal. Once I healed, now I could tell y'all the baby daddy drama. Now I could tell y'all how we put our babies to bed to help us. Now I could talk about how co-parenting and what that could look like and challenges that you may face. Now I could do that, but I couldn't do it without telling you the dark side. And every mom tries to hide that dark side because it can get ugly. And when I released to the public, I tried to kill myself and my daughter. When I released that, I felt 100% like comfort because I said, I didn't do it. I overcame it. And you can too. Because you might be laying right there listening to me and thinking about rolling over and doing the same thing. But you can overcome it. It's not going to defeat you. That's not going to be your last day.
When's the podcast coming back?
So the podcast, we are looking to launch.
Is this a Travis thing?
2024. So we are looking to come back January 2024. We were with Ebony Magazine, but we're no longer a part of that network. So now we are just about to revamp it, give us a whole new feel. We have a lineup of some great moms, 6 different moms that are about to come on this episode. We've decided to release smaller. With Ebony, if you guys were a part of that journey, we have 52 episodes that went out. Now we're going to go season 2 with 6, season 3 with 6. We're going to try to just give a little bit at a time for everybody. So we're excited. There's a lot to unfold. There's a lot that has happened over the years, and we're excited for season 2.
So I'm going to commit to something on camera, but I don't know if I'm ready to do it yet. I'm going to get the last few questions out and then we'll end it with it.
Okay.
So we've covered a lot in this interview so far.
Yeah.
Right? I think we hit a lot of different touch points. What we haven't hit is what scares you?
Failure. Failure is my biggest fear. And most people use that as a driving force, but I'm so scared. I'm so scared of failing because I don't want to let nobody down. Not only myself, I don't want to let my girls down. I don't want to let my family down because when my grandma sees me, when my mom sees me, when they're able to talk about me being an author, me being on a billboard in Atlanta, a major city, several of them, when they're able to say she's interviewed all these people and she's had 3 shows and she's done this and that. When they are able to say that, I get excited, right? But I'm scared for them to never say that again. Or I'm scared for them to look at that as memories and now breeze just deflated. You know what I mean? So I'm scared of failing. I'm scared of making that one decision to do something and then boom, it wasn't the right option for me or all my career goes down. So I'm scared of failing.
What's the biggest misconception about Brie Harmon?
People always love to just think that I have it all figured out. Like if you could see my DMs.
But that's part of good packaging, right?
Yeah, but it ain't like that all the time. And I hate that because when I do something wrong or when something happens, they're always like, it's like, oh, hell breaks loose because you're not supposed to do that. You're not human. And it's like, why? I can make a mistake or I can get on Instagram and twerk with my girls if I want to. I could take a shot just like you do. But because I got 2 kids, because I'm a Millennial Mom podcast, because I'm with all these major brands, I can't. No, I'm gonna just make a close friends and do it for the ones who want to see it. So for me, it's just like thinking that I have it all figured out when I don't. That's why when I try to explain or share my journey or talk about it, I get raw with it. Like I don't hold nothing back because I don't want y'all to think that life is just perfect. There's days where I'm broke. There's months where I'm broke. So it's not always glitz and glam. I will say this again. I hope you guys are understanding. I eat what I kill. So if I do not kill this month, my kids don't eat. So I have to every single day be human just like you and find ways to make sure that I'm always have something coming in for me and my kids.
So with kind of the ups and downs of your career, if somebody said, hey, here's $10 million, but you can't do this again, what would you do?
I wouldn't take it.
So you would keep emptying the tank.
I would keep doing
the same way.
Because money doesn't make happiness. Money doesn't make everything be good, right? Money is not joy. Money is just something that allows you to get through that month or that year or that time, right? But what happens when it's all gone? Because 10 million sound like a lot. But once you pay bill, once you get a new house, once you get a car, once you take care of the kids, once you do this, all these things that are now about to occur, you ain't got nothing left. Nothing. So you have nothing to stand on. But guess what? You also have lost that drive, that passion. You don't know what failure looks like. You don't know what ups and downs looks like. So you think everything's supposed to be given to you. Sometimes I need to go through the mud. Sometimes I need to be sad. Sometimes I need to struggle. Sometimes I have to be successful and to be able to have a testimony. I want to be able to tell the story. I want to be able to mentor that 13-year-old girl who's trying to figure it out, or that 22-year-old that just graduated and she doesn't have a job and she thinks her life is over because she went to school and has no career. I need to tell that story, or else that goes back to purpose. What was my purpose?
What do you do for fun?
For fun, I love to be outside. And I don't mean outside like that, but I like to just go outside. My kids and I, when I'm on the weekend, we are gone. Friday night, we eat out. I don't cook on Fridays. We eat out Friday night. Saturday, we go enjoy the day. We go to the park. We go to the aquarium. We do something. So I just like to be outside enjoying whatever's going on, taking them and just being with my kids. Cause I don't get that time a lot. Like when you think about parenting, your kids go to school from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So from 8 to 5, your kids are gone. And then from 5 to 8:30, that's the only time you really get to spend with them before they go to sleep. So I gotta take the time on the weekends and the times that they're off to really bond with them and connect.
Last 2 questions. Mm-hmm. What's your most memorable night at work?
My most memorable night at work?
Yes. Because you do so much, I can't say what's your favorite interview, but what's your most memorable night at work as Brie Harmon?
The most memorable night that I had was one music fest last year. My daughters got to come with me. And this is when Journey first picked up the microphone. And when Journey picked up the microphone and she imitated me to the T, She was like, I'm Bri Harmon, the Millennial Mommies Club. And it was like, I'm at one music festival, ball alert, but it's okay. I'm Bri Harmon, the Millennial Mommies Club. And what's your name? And she did that to somebody and she came back. So to me, that was like, I will always remember that.
That was like, yo, I made it.
Yeah, it was like, like she's been watching me. And it just made me so happy because she was watching. And not only was she watching, but she
nailed it.
She nailed it. And she was happy and she was laughing. And, Jelani was trying to get somebody's phone. So she was trying to record it. And it just really made me feel like, all right, everything that you're doing for it daily is working. So, yeah, that'll be it.
What's your worst night at work?
The worst night?
Or just like the worst.
Where's my tissue, Reggie? But I'm listening. Because I probably got tears on my face before I answer this one.
Can you get her some tissue real quick?
Sorry.
What's next?
What's next? All right.
What's next?
All right. So what's next for me would have to be another book. I am in the process of getting ready to send the book over for review. I write another book. I'm also shooting season 2 of the Millennial Mommies Club. We also now within the Millennial Mommies different chapters. So the goal is to get one in every state. So the next couple of years, we're going to be working on trying to get a chapter in every single state. And honestly, just being a better me, like learning Bri fully. I think I want a man. So I want happiness. I want every bit of just joy for Brianna. I feel like I've been through some things. I've overcome some things. I've achieved a lot, but now Bri. That's what I think is next. Focusing just on me.
So my commitment, and we're going to let people behind the scenes a little bit. Okay. Because we've spoken about, your determination and your fearlessness and your aggression to go after your things. We fought about this interview.
We did.
We fought about this interview for about 6 months. Like, you didn't talk to me for a month, right? But so then on the back end, I almost had to fight you to do it.
Yes.
Right? But I'm proud because you took the criticism, you turned up, you got it done. So I'm going to fund 3 Millennial Mommies Club episodes.
Excuse me.
And you can fund the other 3. That's my gift to you.
Okay.
Because your determination and your perseverance inspired me to do that.
I appreciate you. All right, everyone. I'm Bri Harmon. I'm the HBUC Muse of the Month. And I love you guys. See you next time. Why not? Fuck.
Cut.
Like I told you.
It's still under an hour, though.
Are we
That's
doing
crazy.
it again or no? Are we cutting
Nah, he was just fucking with you.